In this video, we're going to be sharing 5 ways to improve lateral movement for boxing. Welcome to Boxing Science. In this video, we're going to be sharing 5 strength and conditioning methods that you can be using to help improve your lateral movement for boxing. If you're a big fan of Usyk, Lomachenko, and Israel Madrimov, this video is definitely for you because we're looking at some of the physical things that you can be doing to try and support improving your lateral movement. The new school fighter, very dependent on lateral movement. Looking at people like Bam Rodriguez recently, unbelievable lateral movement. To do this obviously takes hours, days, weeks, months, years in the boxing gym, working on boxing specific training. But there's a lot of strength and conditioning exercises that can help support this process to help improve the physical contributors that are needed to perform fast and dynamic lateral movement in the boxing ring. So in this video, we're going to be sharing these 5 key methods that you can start incorporating into your strength and conditioning workouts to try and improve your lateral movement, and maybe one day you'll be moving like some of these boxing champions. Exercise 1 is ice skaters. This is a really popular exercise in the Boxing Science program. It's our main single leg plyometric exercise that we do to try and help improve lateral movement and stability. The ice skater is fantastic to help improve the stability of the hip during a lateral movement action. It's really beneficial in improving glute strength and hip stability. And there's a range of different ice skaters that you can do. We start off with just a general ice skater, hop and holding to the side. It's really important to build up these foundations first, because the last thing that you want to do is to start incorporating really dynamic ice skaters and start compensating using different things, whether that's a trunk rotation, whether that's a knee going into valgus, or kind of hopping onto the front foot. What we're really focusing on the main ice skaters is trying to improve that absorption when doing a lateral movement exercise, which will transfer into hip stability. It's all about kind of lateral movement and lateral power, but we're talking about stability here. If you're moving off to the side and you can't maintain your balance, you're not going to be able to throw a shot. Also, you're going to be in a disadvantageous position in comparison to your opponent. So it's really important when producing these fast lateral movements that you have the stability to hold your shape to then be able to throw a punch and also be in an advantageous position. Focus on stability first, and then we start building it up to be more dynamic, whether we're incorporating a forward hop into this, whether we're adding a medicine ball to increase lateral momentum, whether we're doing like tap and hold drills. Good exercise to use is a banded variation where we're increasing that lateral momentum to either look to try and control, but also to be able to control and then reproduce force. So the ice skaters and different variations are really beneficial to help improve lateral movement for boxing. Quick interruption. If you're a keen follower of Boxing Science, you will know that we're very data driven, whether that's our sports science research, our strength and conditioning practices, or nutritional strategies. We also take this approach into our content creation. That's why we've been developing content that's been engaging, that's helped grow the Boxing Science YouTube channel. And with this analysis in our YouTube engagement, we've actually found out an interesting figure that only 27% of people that watch our videos actually are subscribed to the Boxing Science YouTube channel. That means that a massive 73% of people that watch these videos aren't currently subscribed. We're actually aiming for the Boxing YouTube channel to hit 100,000 subscribers. Want a nice silver plaque in this bookshelf here, and it will mean the world to us and will also support the growth of the channel to bring you even bigger and better content. So if you're one of them 73%, if I can ask a quick favor, if you can hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content, and also we'll guarantee better content in the future. A very useful tool to improve lateral movement is the banded shadow box. Now, the banded shadow box is probably the icing on top of the cake. There's a lot of stuff that we can still do around hip stability and glute strength, but it's a very easy tool to start implementing into your boxing training. Now, the reason why the banded shadow box is so useful for lateral movement is because the glute and the glute med are needed for that hip extension and rotation to be able to pivot and to produce lateral movement. However, we find with our research, boxers are often underdeveloped and underactivated through the glutes. This indicates through traditional boxing training that the glutes are often underutilized. We're needing to increase the tension on the glutes, and this is what we're achieving through using the bands around the knees. So we're increasing the glute activation through boxing action, and then we're adding some lateral movement demands. So our fighters, this is getting the glutes working and contributing towards fast and dynamic lateral movement. So you can do this in a very generic way, whether you just put on a light set of bands, 3 minutes of shadow boxing, but have that cue to be able to be working on lateral movement. We use heavier bands through more controlled drills where we're actually cueing our athletes to perform lateral movement, whether that is a forward step into a lateral shuffle and a pivot through punching, something that we do quite a lot in our fight week workouts. And also you can do the figure of 8. The figure of 8 is a fantastic drill to be working different ways, laterally, pivoting, and being able to control your boxing technique whilst working laterally. So the banded shadow box is a fantastic tool to help improve lateral movement for boxing. Another fantastic method to improve lateral movement is doing lateral lunges. A lot of strength and conditioning exercises are in the sagittal plane where they're looking to hinge at the hips, squat, and everything like that, rather than actually looking to move laterally. So we're needing to put in some lateral lunges because this is what's needed to obviously move laterally. It's going to be developing your glute strength, glute med strength, and hip stability, but also it's going to be opening up the hips. A lot of boxers are actually quite tight in their groin muscles, so this is what we call our adductors. They're just used to being in this split stance position and not really working out of that range. Also got quite tight hamstrings as well. So we're looking to try and improve mobility of the hamstrings and adductors by really working out into that lateral lunge, whilst also working the glute strength, the glute med strength on the opposite leg. So lateral lunges, fantastic to use. It's used every single session at Boxing Science through our Boxing Science mobility warm-up. We often do this lateral lunge and press, but then we do it in terms of our strength and conditioning workouts, use it as part of our single leg exercises, often do a kettlebell lateral lunge where we're doing opposite arm, opposite leg, but then also we can look to go more dynamic, going from side to side. This is really working that dynamic movement and dynamic lateral movement. And then also doing a lateral lunge swing. This is going towards a more advanced strength and conditioning exercises and also going more towards a fight day as well. So lateral lunge, definitely an exercise that can help improve lateral movement for boxing. So these have been quite specific. I know the lateral lunge was quite generic. Let's look at it from a physiological point of view. What is needed for lateral movement? The main thing is that hip extension and rotation and being able to be stable at the hip to be able to control that lateral momentum. We've done this through very specific exercises such as the ice skaters and the banded shadow box. And also you could say that the lateral lunge, but in generic form, basically we need to improve our glute strength. Boxers are often underdeveloped and underactivated through their glutes just due to not being trained it in the past, being quite tight in their hips, being in a split stance as well. You've got imbalances between left and right side, lead and rear leg. The glutes are often underdeveloped and they need to be coached. We do this in our warm-up where we do glute bridges and we really work on activating the glutes in different ways. We'll do our banded side clams, banded side steps. This is working the glute and the glute med. The glute med is really important to create that hip stability during lateral movement. And then just general kind of glute base exercises. Fantastic exercise would be for lateral movement, very specific to lateral movement, is a split stance wall rotation, where we're looking to try and rotate our upper body as much as we can. This really gets that glute firing up, can be really transferable to hip stability, but generally just improving the glutes, single leg hip thrust variations, whether that's off a bench, single leg hip thrust march, doing a single leg hip thrust with eccentric action, doing a single leg hip thrust with a knee to chest, and also doing isometric single leg hip thrust as well. A range of different exercises there, very generic, doesn't look like lateral movement, but is really working them physical contributors to help improve lateral movement and stability. And the last one is footwork drills. Again, this is going very generic now. Generally, like you look at these fighters that have the best lateral movement, Lomachenko, Usyk, Madrimov, Bam Rodriguez, they all work on footwork drills and look to try and be really reactive through that foot complex. And you need to be light on your feet, you need to be able to produce a lot of force in a very short amount of time to create these movement actions. And the first part of the movement actually comes through the foot complex. So it's not generally looking at lateral movement, but it's looking at trying to be reactive through that foot complex to produce as much force as we can to then be able to move as fast and as dynamic as we can in that lateral movement. You can do this from a very generic point of view to start off with by just working on low intensity and medium intensity plyometrics, stuff like pogos and banded pogos. Then start to build that up with depth jumps, more intensive plyometrics to be able to improve your reactive strength, and then look into more complex exercises and more dynamic plyometrics, such as like ollie shuffles, crisscross and tuck, all these different exercises that help improve that reactive strength, which is needed to be able to produce that force through the foot complex to initiate that initial movement for pivoting and moving to the side in the boxing ring. Okay guys, so that's the end of the video. Lateral movement for boxing. Hopefully found it quite beneficial, and start putting a few of these things into your training. Ice skaters can be done as part of an extended warm-up for your strength and conditioning exercises. The banded shadow box can be used in every single boxing session or used towards speed strength phases if you're looking to put it as part of your strength and conditioning. Lateral lunges and different variations can be put into one of your S&C workouts every week. Improving glute strength should be a key factor in terms of your strength and conditioning, and also footwork drills, plyometric drills can be used in the strength and conditioning sessions and your boxing sessions. So even though it seems a lot of stuff for a very specific area, it can be easily integrated into your strength and conditioning and into your boxing workouts. Guys, if you like this video, let us know in the comments. Hit that like button to support the growth of the channel. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, if you can hit the subscribe button, help the growth of the channel. And if you're wanting any specific content like this, leave a suggestion in the comment box below. And hopefully we bring a video that is going to be more suited to your needs. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you on the next video at Boxing Science.